It was about. I guess I'll talk about it on the show for a second.
Okay, looks like we're live here in College Park for the very last show of the fall 2019 semester. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. The chat says unable to connect, but maybe type something in the chat and see if I can see you. But regardless, you can still text in or call into the show at 443-567-1837. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this semester. We got some great content for you today. We're going to talk some college basketball first, and we're going to talk some NFL. We will also have trivia at the end of the show for like the last 10 minutes. Prizes are still available, so please feel free to chime in on the discussion. And let's start off our talk with college basketball. So I guess. I forgot about my guest.
All-star crew here?
Yeah.
All-star?
So we have two guests who've been on here before, not at the same time. So Drew, please introduce yourself.
How's everyone doing? Drew Lerner, back again for another round with All Things Go. Excited to talk some college hoops, some NFL. A lot of good stuff to talk about today. NFL is getting to the nitty-gritty of the season, last 3 weeks. Interesting playoff picture on both sides. Obviously, a lot to talk about with Maryland today.
And Zach?
How's it going? I'm just got out of bed for this. I'm just ready to dive in. I don't even need a long intro.
Okay. That sounds good, Zach. We're going to talk... I guess we can talk some Maryland. We can talk some Maryland, Big Ten, ACC, whatever you want. Let us know. We will I guess let's just go with the headlines of the week. Illinois, making some noise. What happened with Illinois this week, guys?
Well, I guess we're starting with Maryland's good news, or we want to talk about Illinois.
We can start. Well, what good news is there for Maryland?
Well, I mean that they escaped at home against.
Okay.
Never in doubt.
Yeah, I guess that is good news.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it proves that Maryland can be a gritty team at times. I like to see a win like that early in the season, especially with a team with high expectations like Maryland. I think in the past we've seen those games kind of slip away from our team, especially the Turgeon-coached iterations of Maryland basketball. I think a lot of times we lose that game normally, so it's good to see us kind of grind out a win, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely good to have the Anthony Cowan type player, like we had with Noah Trimble. The guy that he's going to take over the game. Like a lot of times, like last season before, I'm watching these, I'm like, oh god, who's the one that's going to make the shot? We know we have Cowan, but also like every game, Maryland starts so slow and gets behind, and we're starting playing big teams, Big Ten teams now, and it's coming back to bite us already. So if we're going to be trying to compete against Michigan and Ohio State and Michigan State, we're going to need to start faster.
Absolutely. So if you are just catching up on the news tonight, Maryland men's basketball had a close game against Illinois. And Illinois was what's the highest score? Illinois had like a 20-point lead at one point.
I think it was like 14.
Yeah, it was ugly.
It was
15.
It was a 15-point lead for Illinois throughout a majority of the game. And then Maryland kept inching their way back closer and closer. They went on a run at the end of the second half, and Cowan launched a 40-foot three-pointer for almost a buzzer-beater win. And then Cowan drew a live ball foul. He got to go to the line, and Maryland ended up winning by 1. So there's a lot to recap in that Illinois-Maryland basketball game. Illinois came in with a 1 loss. I forgot who they lost to. But there was a lot to recap. I know there were a lot of bad things in that game, but if you guys see anything good, what was that good thing that you saw from Maryland at Illinois? Well, Illinois at Maryland.
I think the defense really showed up. This is the first time I've really seen an elite defensive team be put out here, and at least in my 4 years here so far. It's good to see that our defense can keep us in games, that not everything's clicking on the offensive end. I think we do see a lot of improvisation offensively from Maryland so far. That's kind of typical with a Mark Turgeon team, I think. But I was very impressed and have been impressed all season with the defense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we shot 26% from three-pointer, and 33% just from the field in general. So the fact that we could shoot so poorly and still win is a testament to that. We were holding Illinois to 58 points. So, I mean, we shot worse than them, but good for us forcing turnovers.
Yeah, Maryland basketball had a lot of issues, whether it was shooting, whether it was defense, whether it was slow start. It was a lot to digest in that short time frame. It was an ugly game. We're glad, we're lucky that we escaped with that W. But I think the bottom line is we have to get out to a fast start. We can't afford these slow starts against quality teams because it's just creating too much of a deficit, and working from behind is never fun. So who else did Maryland play this week? Penn State. Oh, yeah. So Maryland, they've only beat Penn State once on the road since they've joined the Big Ten, and in that year, Penn State went 3-10 in the Big Ten. They were a bad team. So the one win we got against Penn State was a pretty easy win, and that was in 2015. So we haven't been able to beat Penn State 3 times on the road after that win, and we didn't beat them this time, so that makes it 4 straight losses at Penn State. What do we have to do to resolve that problem, guys?
Penn State's another one of those teams similar to Illinois that, they had a lot of young guys last season. They're all a year older now. Coach is implementing their system. Penn State for the first time could go to the tournament this season, so especially after a nice marquee win against the Terps. Penn State's not a team to scoff at, but I think what we saw on what was it, Tuesday, Monday, whatever.
Tuesday.
I think what we saw on Tuesday was a Maryland team that hasn't played a true road game yet this season. We've had a couple neutral site games, some shaky starts. We've had a great performance against Marquette in Orlando. But, it's our first Big Ten road game, and I think it really got to some of the younger guys. I don't think Dante Scott had a particularly great game. Neither did either of the Mitchell twins, if I recall correctly. They're all freshmen. They haven't played in a hostile atmosphere yet. I think that contributed to the loss.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, first true road game, like you said, Penn State was the best team, Ken Palm-wise, that we've played so far. And again, back-to-back games, we shot 33%. So we can't continue to win if we are putting the ball in the basket 1/3 of the time. Cowan shot 5 for 17. When we're playing better teams, we're going to need to figure out how to make shots, because I feel like so many of our shots are threes. We shot 23 threes that game. We need to be able to use the fact that we have the Mitchells, we have Jalen Smith, they have Dante Scott, big guys to get layups and get easy shots, post moves, but I'm just not seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of threes. Yeah,
Dante Scott, he got more playing time than I thought he was. I didn't think he played that particularly well against Illinois, especially after that technical or the flagrant, whatever he got, and giving them 2 shots. He got more playing time than I thought he would, but Turgeon seems to believe a lot of them, so Turgeon trusts his guys, and Wiggins is doing what he's supposed to do. Wiggins has been our second most reliable player, probably right behind Cowan. I don't know, but I still think I said last week that this group is going to win the national championship, and
you did?
I did.
Right,
and
that's a hot take.
Yeah, so I still think they can, and I said that because I trust their players, not so much the coaching, because I think we will all agree with that, but their players know what they're doing, I think, more, and I think they have the capability to get hot, and if March strikes them right and the Leprechauns on their side, I'm ready for it.
I think that you look at college basketball as a whole this year, and we've seen pretty clearly that there's not one dominant team. Maryland was the seventh top 5 team to go down already this season. Something like there's been 6 or 7 upsets against top 5 teams already. So I don't think there really is a dominant team. It's going to be It's going to be big time matchup dependent in March. We haven't seen Turgeon make too deep of a run in the tournament yet, but I think this is the team that's going to do it if it does happen. I think we have the defensive intangibles this year. We have a huge player in Smith. Really really good rim protector. Very hard for any team to get things going inside. Really, I think the team's kryptonite defensively is that guarding that 3-point shot.
Yeah.
When we get out of rotation, can't get a hand in a shooter's face. That's what's going to happen. I think we saw that against Penn State. Looking here. They didn't shoot too well from three, but
Maryland typically does afford more 3-point shots than other teams, and they struggle defending that, definitely. Zach, what do you think?
Are you guys, I have a question for you guys.
I want you to see it. Does
Okay.
Maryland? All right. Well, I was gonna say, is Maryland going to win the national championship? Do you see it at all?
I mean, the worst feeling in the world would be not putting them in my bracket.
I need to give the viewers some hope.
I'm getting. Oh, okay. I got you. Of course, we have Mark Turk. Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, the worst feeling in the world would be not putting them in the bracket and then for them to win, right? But I mean, I just don't see it the way we're starting. I mean, it takes us comebacks to get over Harvard and Temple. So we haven't even played like a ranked team yet, literally. I think Seton Hall, our next game, is ranked right now. So that should be a good test. But I'm honestly curious, what do you guys think about Mark Turgeon? Do you think we have to reach a level of success this season for him to stay? Because for him to be here, 9 seasons and only get to Sweet 16 once, I think, and never get past that. And this is his best team, undoubtedly. So I'm craving a deep tourney run. And if he doesn't get it, I'm fed up with him.
I think it's fair to say, a lot of Maryland fans have been fed up with Mark Turgeon for a while now. But as someone who has been a part of that camp for a lot of my time, paying attention to the Maryland basketball program, I think this year will be pretty indicative, but I'm not going to expect anything in terms of a coaching change anytime soon, given that I think we just extended his contract last season.
Did we?
Through 2023 or 2024. So he's got a massive buyout right now, especially with what's going on in the football program. I don't think we're going to be making any changes in the basketball program. And also, he's proven he can recruit still at a high level. The assistant coaching staff is elite. We have great assistants. I think that's where we're seeing a lot of this defensive improvement this year. I would just love to see some sort of offensive system out of Turgeon. I think the ways we lose are some of the most frustrating games of basketball I've ever watched. But at the end of the day, there's 350 odd teams in college basketball. Only 68 make the tournament every year, and Turgeon's made the tournament practically every year he's been here.
I think he's missed twice.
He's missed twice, but
and he didn't make the NIT one year.
Yeah, they didn't make the NIT 2 years ago. But I mean, you can't really argue if you're in the tournament every year, you got a chance to make the run.
Yeah, definitely. What was I gonna say? One thing, with the football program, we don't expect any changes from basketball. But one thing that good bosses know is that you can't fire before you're ready to hire. And if there's not a better candidate, if there's not a better head coaching candidate out there for Maryland basketball, then you have to stick with Turgeon, because Turgeon has been reliable in the sense that he always builds a somewhat sustainable team. But if there's nobody better out there and that you don't like, then you're kind of stuck with them.
Also, I mean, as a recruiter, I'm trying to look. It looks like we've only gotten in his whole tenure 2 5-star recruits, and one of them was debatably paid. So I don't know. It's paid in dimes. Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't been. I feel like when you're a head coach of like a college basketball program, like you have to be extremely like charismatic, because the players come and go, but the coach is like the face, And if I'm being recruited by and coached by Coach K or John Calipari, these guys who like write books and are like legendary, and then I have like Mark Turgeon come, like I'm not gonna be. It hasn't been impressive to me from even just like a charisma standpoint.
If I remember correctly, the state of Maryland produces like the most professional basketball players out of any other state. So I want to ask you guys, and I don't know actually, how well does Turgeon do with getting the guys locally? Because it's very easy to recruit in Maryland if you're a Maryland school. So I know he doesn't but he got like Kevin Herter, who was like the New York State Player of the Year, and
so where did he go?
I don't know how he got Kevin Herter.
Victor Oladipo from Maryland. We're not getting. But yeah, DMV area is a hotbed.
I think Turgeon has recruited the DMV pretty well. Sticks is from DeMatha, right?
Cowan is from and Morcell are all from Baltimore, or Cowan's from Bowie.
Yeah, I think the 5-star criticism's a little misguided.
Okay.
Five stars in basketball very hard to come by, and vast majority of them go to the Kentuckys, the Kansases, the Dukes, the UNCs, those types of blue blood teams that are constantly competing for championships. He gets a lot of 4-star guys, which is better than what most Power 5 teams can do. So I think recruiting-wise, Turgeon's done a fine job. I think what we need to see out of him, and I think you can say, on another point, I think you can say similarly about Loxley so far, as he's been able to recruit the DMV quite well, and that's kind of been the bread and butter for Maryland sports, is recruiting this area where there are a ton of athletes coming out that are professional caliber athletes. So that's kind of what at the end of the day keeps our two major programs afloat. Although I don't know how much you can argue football's afloat.
Yeah, and about football.
In the right direction.
About football, we got Loxley is recruiting and he's doing well. For the amount of time he's had, but we've also had some people decommit from Maryland, which was unfortunate for the football program. So that was unfortunate.
Too bad we couldn't get Jalen Hurts right. That would have been nice.
Oh no, Jalen Hurts would not have saved this team. No way.
Oh, he would have done better.
He would have done better. And
that guy, I think every year he's been playing. He went to the college football playoffs every year. 3 years on Alabama, 1 on Oklahoma.
Yeah, he might have went to the playoffs. I mean, conceivably, depending on how good
he could have taken us to a bowl game.
Yeah,
he would have done. Well, yeah,
finalist.
I could list off the 3 losses right now and why we should have won. Temple, we had 8 downs in the 10-yard line. They score a touchdown, we didn't get it. A game-losing interception against Indiana at home, and it was a bad interception. And they were at the 30 or 40-yard line too, and they were getting ready to score with 90 seconds left. It should have been a dub. And who else? And we lost to Purdue, who was 3-5 or something at the time, and we got blown out by them. So that's 3 losses right there that could have been wins with Jalen Hurts.
Not to get too off topic, but I think the issue with recruiting football to Maryland is the fact that you're going to be playing Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State nearly every year without fail. You're setting guys up to lose if you're coming to Maryland and you're trying to convince these guys that they're going to go up against Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State year in and year out and be able to compete. I think that's a tough sell. So I think Maryland football is a little damned if they do, damned if they don't in that regard. But that's the nature of being in the Big Ten. You're going to have to compete.
Yeah, I guess it's to transition, because I feel do we know why we switched from ACC to Big Ten in the first place?
Money.
I guess so. I don't know. It's funny because during the Big Ten ACC Challenge, we played Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's in Indiana, in the Midwest Big Ten country, and we're on the Atlantic coast having to travel to Indiana and Ohio for all our games because that was the decision we made. So hopefully our football team gets better and we could, be a Big Ten team, but it remains to be seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. How long is Loxley's contract for?
I
give him some time. He's got.
I don't think he's $1 million coach. I think he's getting paid $500K or something like that.
Check the Diamondback.
I think this is from the Diamondback salary guide. If you guys want to look up
the highest paid public employee then in the state of Maryland.
No, it was DJ Durkin that's the highest paid public employee.
Oh, we're still paying him out? Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's funny. I don't know. I think DJ Durkin got hired to be an advisor for a week with an NFL team or something.
Alabama.
Yeah, it might not have been Alabama, but
he got hired to be an advisor somewhere.
Yeah, it's DJ Durkin.
He probably won't have another.
Durkin, Wallace Lowe, Turgeon, and then
I'm surprised Turgeon's not making upwards of $1 million a year.
Take us to an Elite Eight.
And talking about more salaries, is Brenda Fries doesn't even get paid as much as Turgeon, so there's that for gender equality. So. Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she has a nice Maryland dairy flavor.
Well, I'd like to talk about expectations for the basketball team. Close that conversation out, if possible.
National championships.
What do
That's
you
your
think?
expectation.
Other than obviously we would all love to win a title.
We are. Penn State.
What is an acceptable outcome for this Maryland basketball team?
I want an Elite Eight. I feel like he's only ever been to the Sweet 16. We're 7 in the preseason poll. We've been, we'll see what happens when the new polls come out, but we've been, top 7 the whole time. So give me an Elite Eight, or else I'm going to be disappointed.
I think the last time we made the Sweet 16, which was like 2016, I think we were ranked like number 7 or 5 in the preseason rankings of that season.
Even higher. I think we might have been 2 or 3.
Yeah, something like that. So I would expect the same.
3.
I would expect Sweet 16. I want to see more though. I think I just like this team a lot. I like the team. I don't like the coach, but
This team is very easy to root for.
like there's like so many guys too. But like Ricky Lindo, like I know he wasn't going to get playing time this year, but it's not because he's bad. It's just because he's outcompete by the other guys, the new guys. And what about Hakeem? What's his name? Hicks? Hart. Yeah, he was new. What do you think of him? Is he's a freshman?
Yeah, he's a freshman.
He didn't even play like the first couple games, I don't think.
I haven't seen him too much. He's gotten limited minutes in these past few games. I haven't seen too much out of him, but hopefully he's one of those projects. Turgeon's infamous for being able to develop his players very well, right, guys? Right?
No, Demonte Dodd he developed from like a bench player to getting 6 points per game.
But jokes aside, hopefully he develops over his time here. And I tend to agree with you guys that if this team doesn't make it out of the first weekend of the tournament, that's a big failure. I would love to see an Elite Eight. I think that's really where the bar should be set this year. Getting out of that Sweet 16 round against good competition and having a shot one game and get into the Final Four, I think that would be a great place for this team.
What other news in college basketball this week? Unless you guys want to talk about Maryland more.
Michigan lost, Louisville lost.
Oh yeah, the rankings are so hard. So let's list off all the teams that lost. Michigan State. Michigan State as the number 3 team lost to somebody. Duke lost to Stephen F. Austin. I forgot what they were ranked, 8 or 9. Kentucky lost to Evansville. Michigan lost to Illinois. Louisville lost to who?
Who was it? Was it an ACC team?
Louisville was number 1.
It was, I think, was it Texas Tech? It was Texas Tech.
Okay. I guess Texas Tech is a tournament team.
They lost a lot of guys from their team last year.
Oh, okay.
But Chris Beard's a great coach, so he's going to put something.
So I guess conceivably, if Maryland beat Penn State, we could be 1 or 2 because Louisville lost.
Well, we're going like 3 probably because we're 4 right now.
And
we started the season at 3.
State over us. Kansas has only lost to Duke or Kentucky.
I think it was Kentucky.
One of those on the first night of the season. So that doesn't really mean much.
So these preseason rankings were all shaken up, and it just goes to show you that basketball is a long season for these guys. So I guess when can we trust these rankings? Because these rankings are crazy right now. Can we really think that Michigan's a number 4 team after they just lost?
I actually saw a great stat about this.
Okay.
This past week, where they tracked the historically the AP poll week by week over the past however many seasons, and they showed I believe in the past 10 or 12 seasons that every year aside from 2, by week 6, which is where we're at in the college basketball season right now, by the week 6 AP poll, the national title winner was always in the top 12, aside from 2 times. So, hey, Maryland.
Since when?
Let's do trivia.
Let me look up the stat. I found it on the college basketball subreddit.
Because if this is like from 2000, since 2000.
You should try to guess, Nick, which were the 2 times. Test our knowledge.
I don't know, dude. It's like nobody would answer that question correctly.
You'd say Connecticut with Shabazz Napier was probably not in the top 6.
Surprisingly,
oh, they were?
that was one. That they were actually in the top 12, then they fell off, and then.
Gotcha. That's honestly how I pick my bracket. A lot of times I like to look at preseason polls because a lot of times teams that were supposed to be good that don't overperform can have like a good March.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
I'll have to find the exact stat.
Okay. Well,
Save me a bit.
I'm gonna recap you guys on some baseball before we go back to college basketball.
I'm a Yankees fan. We got Garrett Cole.
Yeah, Garrett Cole to the Yankees for $324 million, 9 years, most millions per year, $36 million per year is the highest average annual value for any pitcher of all time. And Rendon went to the Angels. And Strasburg re-signed with the Nationals. Strasburg and Rendon both got 7 years, $245 million. And I guess the Nationals always spend money on starting pitching. They didn't stray from that philosophy. Personally, I would have liked to see them sign Rendon because I like to pay position players because they evidently play more games than pitchers. Strasburg might pitch you 30 times and get 20 wins, but Rendon will play 150 times and get you 30 wins or something like that. 30 wins in the sense that it go-ahead hits and just big plays. So did the Nationals do right? Is the Nationals formula for purchasing starting pitching correct? Should they have kept Strasburg when he's going to be 37 at the end of the contract? Who should they have signed? Was Strasburg or Rendon? Agree, disagree?
I think pitchers are more important because pitchers will pitch, one every 5 games, whereas players will only play, 1/9 of the field and bat 1/9 of the time. So I think pitchers have more of an impact on what wins the game. But I mean, these baseball players really benefit from the lack of salary cap because, like I said, they only play one position and bat once every 9 times, and they're making $25 million a year. Meanwhile, like basketball players are playing 35 minutes a game and playing constant action and not making as much. So good to be a baseball player. Good to be these guys.
Yeah, but they do have to play 162 games in 140 days. So, and the road to the majors is not pretty. The minor leagues are going through a whole reshaping this offseason. So, nothing has been confirmed yet regarding that minor league teams getting expelled or desized or whatnot. But every cent that a baseball player earns, they are working every single day in the summer for it. I don't have any more. I guess we can talk about Garrett Cole to the Yankees. Garrett Cole got a ridiculous contract. Yankees spent for him. I don't understand how any one player could be that valuable. And I still I get if Strasburg and Rendon $245 million, if that's what the standard is, then you have to pay it. But Garrett Cole, how could you pay an additional $50 or $100 million for one player? He's not worth that much.
The Yankees have to win a World Series in the next 3 years. They signed him a 9-year contract, and he's 29 already. So he's going to be probably on contract $36 million a year, way past his prime, way past when he's 20 wins a season. So
wait, how long is Garrett Cole on contract for?
9 years they signed him, and he's 29 already.
Oh yeah,
So we're paying him $36 million as a 36-year-old. We'll see how good he is. So I mean, future is now. We got to win a championship. Could have won this year if the Astros didn't cheat, but we got to win a championship.
Yeah, the Astros are going through the Astros have to have some kind of repercussions. Drew, I'm sorry. Did I forget about you?
No, sorry. I was just finding the stat.
Did you find it?
I actually just found it, so this is perfect time.
All right, well, let's hear it.
Past 20 years, with the exception of 2 years, the Week 6 AP poll, college basketball poll, has included the eventual national champion among the top 12 teams. So those top 12 teams in Week 6 of the AP poll this year, we have Louisville at 1, Kansas, Ohio State, Maryland, Michigan, Gonzaga, Duke, Kentucky, Virginia, Oregon, Baylor, and Auburn. That rounds out your top 12.
Except twice. So twice those top 12 teams did not be a national champion.
Correct. We have 2003 Syracuse is one, and then I believe Kemba Walker's UConn Huskies when they
I remember. I saw a highlight of that yesterday, yeah.
Tournament, yeah, and then went on to win the entire thing. That's those are the 2 instances where there's not been a national title winner from the top 12 in the Week 6 AP poll.
Yeah, so we have a 1 out of 12 chance, I guess.
One thing Maryland has going is that I think this is my philosophy, and I think you see it, is that if you're gonna win, you have to have like a senior point guard, like well not senior, but upperclassman like leadership. Like
That's a hot take.
No, you look at like Virginia with Kyle Guy. You look at North Carolina had Joel Berry, like Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier. Like when Trey Burke, he like brought that team. Like Frank Mason.
Juan Dixon.
Yeah. What?
Juan Dixon.
Juan Dixon. No, I mean like the senior point guards. These guys are the ball handlers when they're like poised and when they can make a big shot. That like really helps out a team.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't want Cowan to take any more big shots. I want more large.
I do want more.
Well, I do. Let's give me a second here. I want larger margins of victory. Like taking big shots are great and all, but you can only be so iced for so long, and you can only be so cold for so long. You can't. I mean, like
it helps us campaign for like AP or for wooden play or whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna be in the footage.
I think Cowan's just trying to get to the NBA. To be honest with you,
good luck with that. He needs a couple more inches.
It's probably not gonna happen.
No.
He'll be good. Might be in a G League for a year, but
to his credit, man, he's built himself up over the past offseason. He looks a lot stronger this year than he was last year. And it's kind of it's improved his finishing, I think.
Yeah, you just need height. Even Isaiah Thomas was like the last pick in the NBA draft, and like he's like the best player to be that small. So obviously since like a bunch of.
Yeah, well, we hit the half-hour mark of our show. Thank you for everybody for listening. As always, you can text or call in what your thoughts are at 443-567-1837. Do you guys want to talk about college basketball anymore? Is there any more other hot headlines that we haven't got to yet?
Let's go NFL.
Yeah, I'm ready for NFL.
All right, let's go with some football. So, this past week in NFL, what were the big headlines? What happened?
So long ago.
Baltimore or Ravens beat the Bills. It wasn't that pretty of a win, but they controlled the game and they got the dub. Seattle lost to who?
Rams.
The Rams. Yeah, the Rams looked great in that game. So and Seattle and San Francisco played the last week of the season. So Seattle's likely going to need to win that game if they want to get that first seed from San Francisco right now. San Francisco and Seattle are in the same division, so they're going to be battling out for that first round bye. And that NFC looks real good. AFC have the AFC, the NFC.
Yeah.
You were going to talk about the NFC East.
I was saying. Yeah, we does look real good aside from the East.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the NFC East. So. What can theoretically happen is 3 teams in the NFC East finish 6-10, and because Philadelphia plays Dallas, they all cannot finish 6-10. Unfortunately,
I was about to say I'm pretty sure Dallas and Philadelphia play either. I think it's next week. I think it's
not this week, but next week. So whoever wins between Dallas and Philadelphia will likely take the division. I don't see. I mean. It could happen. Other things could happen, but that's probably what's going to happen. So that's an interesting division. Zach, because you're from New York and you probably know the Giants well, are you disappointed with Daniel Jones this year?
No, I had no expectations. I want to get him Joe Burrow, and then we'll talk.
I would take Joe Burrow for my Pittsburgh Steelers here as well.
Yeah, well, no, Duck's very good.
Duck. The last time I was on this show, I believe the Steelers were 4-4. It was looking really shaky. We weren't sure if Mason Rudolph was going to take the helm, or he had gotten injured a little bit. Have our third string Duck come in there, and hey, now the Steelers are sitting at the 6th spot in the AFC at 8-5. Testament to Mike Tomlin's coaching ability. They have a big matchup with the Bills in prime time this Sunday.
You know who doesn't have a lot of good coaching ability? Jason Garrett. I mean,
oh shit!
I feel like when I watch the Cowboys, like they're not bad. Like Dak Prescott's
they're top 10 in both passing and rushing and defense.
That's what I'm saying. Like Dak Prescott's leading the league in passing yards. Like Ezekiel Elliott is top 5 in rushing yards. So I don't understand why they're 6-7.
I don't understand. Like I looked at their schedule yesterday, and
the Bears. Like the Bears are bad.
They lost like every quality opponent. They just lost to, whether by one score or whatever. They just never. They just haven't executed their game plan at all.
They've beat the Giants, Redskins, Dolphins, Eagles, Giants, Lions, and then they've lost to everybody else. Like lost to Bears, lost to Bills. lost to Jets.
Yeah,
Like,
any
I
questionably
understand.
good team they've lost to.
Yeah, they left.
They're
with a question.
4-0 in division,
I was
so
about to say, that division is bad. Where
But it's a scary team if like whoever the 5 seed is, because they're going to be probably favored by so much. And I don't know. I think Dallas is good. I just don't understand why they're losing.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett saved his job with a
Super Bowl run.
Well, Jerry Jones is an idiot too. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
I
GM owner. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, actually, I guess I can't blame the GM because they have talent. So they gotta hire someone else.
So I feel like Dallas would be the team to just go into the playoffs,
Eagles
win a
are-
couple games, and like get to the Super Bowl somehow, and then like
talking about that.
win. Like I feel like that could happen. Just
Yeah, it's like the mark.
I mean, the 9-7 Giants beat the undefeated Patriots, so I just feel like Dallas would be that team again.
I don't know if I'd like to see it, but for my chaos brain, it would be pretty good.
It's like Jason Garrett is like the Mark Turgeon of football.
Yeah, I would.
Just
I
like-
do have a lot of similarities.
He's there for a while, and you're every year you're like, I don't really like this guy, but
Just
every
good
year
enough.
they're like just good enough. They make the playoffs enough, and then it's like before you know it, you've just like wasted 10 years of your life, and you haven't gotten that far on these like I don't know. So we'll see.
Well, how long did it take the Bengals to fire Marvin Lewis? He never even
That's
won
true.
a playoff game in Cincinnati, but he was always in that wild card round.
That is well, Andy Dalton is not very close. I think he's like 0-4 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see if he ever gets back. But
Yeah, I think Andy Dalton's taken a lot of hits in his career. Not hits, but like taking a lot of hits from the media in his career. Like I thought he was like an okay to good quarterback, and he just never excelled. He never excelled
he's good for charity.
with Marvin Lewis. I guess let's stop talking about the NFC East and any other NFC teams that you guys want to talk about.
I think the NFC North is a fun division to watch.
So Green Bay,
might be one, other than the AFC North, of course, in my homerism. If I had to pick another division in the NFL, I think NFC North is probably the most entertaining division to watch.
Well, what criteria?
Just competitive games. I mean, you're watching Green Bay play Minnesota, and you got 2 cold weather teams, blue collar towns. That's what football's all about in my mind. You got Green Bay sitting at 10-3 and Minnesota at 9-4 too. Obviously, a great top of the division, and then Chicago right behind at 7-6. I mean, there's really no easy outs. Even the Lions have showed fight.
yeah, it's unfortunate Matthew Stafford got hurt like this year. I'm a big fan of Matthew Stafford. I think he's a gamer. I love him. And it's unfortunate he got hurt. And the Lions are better than what their QB is. And their QB's pretty good.
The Lions QB.
The Matthew Stafford Lions. The Matthew Stafford Lions.
Like Jeff Trower or whatever his name. I think I'm like watching the NFC West. The only division with 2 10-win teams, only division with 3 8-win teams. The Rams coming off a Super Bowl appearance, and then you have the 49ers and Seahawks atop. They're playing in Week 17, so if they stay within a game of each other, then that game's for the whole division. That game's either for the 1 or 2 seed, and the other one has to drop all the way down to 5 and basically travel to Dallas or Philadelphia. So it's a big swing there.
It honestly is. It could be the difference between a Super Bowl and a first-round playoff loss. One thing that the NFL has not looked into, but the media has asked for, is a reseeding of the playoffs. And how this reseeding would work would be like Dallas. So Dallas is 6-7 right now, and they're the 4th seed, so they get a home playoff game. So I believe what happened in this proposed new system by the media, not by the NFL. The NFL had no intention to do this. I think what would happen that Dallas would become the 5th seed or something like that, so that Seattle would get the home game that they definitely deserve because they're the better team. What do you think about that? Should we have a reseeding of the playoffs?
I think it's a pretty rare situation. Probably to begin with.
Oh yeah, you're
NFL
right.
Does reseed after the wild card round as well. So I mean, to extend it to the wild card round itself probably would make sense. But also, I think there's something to be said for winning your division, no matter how terrible your division is. I know the Seahawks a few years ago won their division at 7-9.
Beastquake.
That gave us Beastquake, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. that was an iconic game.
Iconic play.
Yeah. Personally, I find it fun to root for those 7 and 9 teams in the playoffs, just to crush the hopes and dreams of other teams.
The reseeding is an interesting idea. Obviously, you can't implement it like mid-season just because you don't like what's going on. But I think honestly, why not? If you have like a 10-win team versus an 8-win team, why not give the 10-win team home game?
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't think the NFL is going to change it just because it is rare and it is kind of unnecessary. Maybe if the team has 2 more wins than the next lowest seed, they should get the home game instead of the other team with the 2 less wins. Because 2 wins is kind of important. 1 win, maybe not as important. 1 win difference, maybe not as important. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see if that's explored any further. But as of right now, nothing looks like that. That does not look like it's going to happen. Transitioning to the AFC, the Titans are the surprise team of the second half of the football year. Ryan Tannehill really taking that team to the next level. Marcus Mariota is not the guy in Tennessee anymore. So Ryan Tannehill beat a couple different teams. He gets to play the Texans twice in the next 3 weeks, and he gets to play the Saints. I think if he wins 2 of those games, he's guaranteed playoffs. If he wins 1, I think he's got a very good shot. So what do you think of the Titans?
Are they guaranteed with 2?
They're not. They almost. They would be practically. It would be a very good chance.
2 games.
10 wins for any of these teams would guarantee a good almost a wild card spot. But 9 wins is going to be a question mark this year.
Yeah, definitely. We have a huge matchup, Buffalo and Pittsburgh this week.
That is a huge matchup.
Houston's Houston and Tennessee also a huge matchup with massive playoff implications. I think we're seeing a really tight race here in the AFC. We have some interesting teams. I think the Bills, obviously fighting for that wild card spot most likely with New England in their division. Kyle Allen has been nothing short of incredible this season, I think. I don't know if anyone saw what Kyle Allen was doing.
Wait, which team? Which Allen? There's 3 Allens, so you got to...
Quarterback from the Bills.
Josh
Allen. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kyle Allen on the Broncos was, okay.
Yeah.
Or no, Kyle Allen on the Panthers. He did, okay. The Panthers had coaching firing, too. We can talk about that.
Allen.
Josh Allen on the Bills. What about him?
Well, I don't think anyone saw this coming from him. I mean, I think people realized he was a good player. He's got the ability to run the ball. He's got the ability to pass the ball. He's a huge body. He's got NFL speed. But, did anyone see him leading the Bills to 9-4 in the AFC East? You get some easy games against Miami and the Jets, but you're still in the same division as New England. You're playing other teams. You're in the Buffalo cold. I don't know if anyone saw a 9-win Buffalo team coming this year. I sure didn't.
Yeah, I did not. Josh Allen's actually surprised me in how well he's been using his legs. Didn't think he was a runner, but that's kind of what he's been very good at. Also going back, I wish the Dolphins had the same success as the Titans did with their quarterback, but I guess Ryan Tannehill wasted no talent in the Dolphins. He bottled it all up to give the Titans some wins now. But another interesting quarterback is the Denver Broncos' Drew Lock. Is he?
I forgot what college. What college?
I think Missouri, but I may have made that up.
I think it is Missouri.
There you go.
And
2-0, a big win over the Texans by scored 38. The guy's been crazy so far. So who knows?
Yeah, apparently Joe Flacco was the problem and not the solution in Denver. Joe Flacco is on IR. This might be the last Super Bowl, the last season he plays in the NFL as a starter at least. He could get a backup position, but I don't think anybody's going to sign him. Maybe sign him if you have a young quarterback.
This has been the year of the backup quarterback. I think it's pretty easy to say. Pretty much, I think over half of teams, or around half of the teams in the NFL at some point this year have had to play their backup, which is a pretty incredible stat when you think about it. That's 50% of teams having to resort to that second guy on the depth chart, and there's something to be said for kind of the depth of QB talent in the league right now. I think we've seen a lot of serviceable backups. And I think it's caused a lot of coaches to try to get creative with their offensive schemes, not be so reliant on quarterbacks that need to make very difficult reads. I think we've kind of seen a return to short dump off passing, quick plays, quick routes, trying to just move the ball down the field. Seen a lot of mobile quarterbacks now as well, dual threat, trying to throw some wrinkles into offensive schemes and give the defenses a little more to think about in that regard, and taking the onus out of the quarterback's headspace and rather into some simpler reads.
I'm always interested in the franchise quarterbacks on teams who are bad, because I think in the long run a team is either very consistently good because they have a franchise quarterback, or they're not. So I wonder how long a Jets team will wait it out with Darnold, or an Oakland team will keep it going with Derek Carr. There's a lot of teams I feel like with franchise quarterbacks, Trubisky.
No, hold up.
Well, I know, but they're supposed to be the guy. It's how long are you gonna wait for them to become the guy? And then you have a team like Tennessee Titans, who do not have the guy, and yet they're 8-5 and on the brink of making the playoffs. So the quarterback's the most important position, obviously, in football, and it's interesting to see how teams fare with quote unquote franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah, Tannehill was always a good, reliable, stable option for the Dolphins, and I forgot why he didn't resign, but I think he found a good home in Tennessee, and he had an opportunity, he took it, and he's doing magical things with it. So we talked about Joe Flacco, and he's probably never going to start again. I don't see it, unless it's for some crappy team.
We should talk about the Patriots.
I was
going to 2-game losing streak.
I was going to ask, do you think Eli Manning will ever start again in the NFL after this season? After this season?
No.
So Eli Manning, he's 161 and 162 as a full-time starter, or for his starter. That's his starter record, and he lost to the Eagles. Darius Slayton looked very good. Is Eli Manning going to get another start after this season?
After this season, I think absolutely not. I think Eli's thrown in the towel.
Yeah.
Retirement or backup?
Retirement. He's 38. That's enough.
Is he really that old?
Yeah.
He's
okay.
old.
He's big old.
Yeah. I am down to talk about the Patriots, though. They are on a 2-game skid. A little bit of controversy last week with the refs. What do you guys think of that call, or the several calls in that game?
Oh, never mind. I was thinking about the filming the Bengals thing.
Oh, we can talk about that.
I don't care.
Wait, what were you talking about? What did you say?
Some of the calls in the Patriots game last week.
Oh, I was initially thinking of the Bengals filming and whatever.
Talk about that too.
I mean, the Patriots are not videotaping the Bengals.
Well,
I think they were, but
it's either
not for
they're not doing it. They're not. It's not Spygate 2. Please,
it's
not.
Or they were just doing it every game. This is the first time they got caught. There's no way this was the first time they did it, because no one's filming the Bengals. But maybe it's the first time they got caught and they do it every game.
Seems like the first time their story is actually held up.
Yeah, why would you risk it against the Bengals, Zach, if they do it every week?
I mean, you're on a 2-game losing streak, and Andy Dalton's he's back.
They were filming before they lost.
No, I mean, they suck.
Yeah. If you need to steal the Bengals signs or tendencies this season, you might want to look towards the NFL draft for your problems, and
not through a camera lens.
Yeah.
So, but New England, they played Kansas City last week. That game was riddled with a bunch of refs that made calls. In one series, they made 3 bad calls, and when I say bad calls, I mean bad calls. And they should have been more diligent with how they reffed. I think New England Chiefs game is going to get a lot of attention in the offseason. The competition committee has to review, and the NFL should get a sky judge, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The XFL has a sky judge, for crying out loud.
Can you explain a sky judge?
So a sky judge is basically a ref that sits up in the booth, and
college football has this, right?
I don't know. I'm not an officiating expert, but they have the ability to stop the game and make the right call.
Yeah. College football does that. They review every single play in the booth, and if something seems wrong, they call down. Overall, if we're going to talk about replay, think one thing we should talk about is the pass interference replays this season. But I would also like to hear you guys' thoughts overall on how you think ref performance has been this year as compared to years past. Have you noticed a discernible difference?
It was hard to remember last year. You just remember Nicole Roby Coleman just absolutely obliterating the hell out of Cooper Kupp or whoever he destroyed in the NFC Championship game. So that's like that.
Saints. Yeah, I don't like the interference that it's reviewable. I feel like it was an overreaction to that one play.
No way, it was not an overreaction.
How can you review an opinionated call? Like that's like reviewing blocks and charges. Like in slow motion, things are gonna look different than they look in real time. And like I feel like it's stupid to try to review, and then it's even stupider that they're basically like don't overturn anything. So it's pointless.
Yeah, I've seen. You want to say something?
It is not pointless because there is going to be another Nicole Roby Coleman play that decides the game, and if you can't challenge it, then you're screwed.
NFL's been going on for 100 years. We can think of one play. I mean, obviously there's more, but like.
I mean, there were a couple, like when Marlon Humphrey's coverage against DeAndre Hopkins, that should have been called.
But it was so. They reviewed it and it wasn't. So the review.
I mean, it was the wrong decision.
But for me, it's just as a fan. It seems like it just slows the game down too much. It seems like there's a lot more challenge flags being thrown onto the field about, most of them about these, pass interference challenges that, quite frankly, very rarely get overturned. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure coaches will learn that and, adjust accordingly. But at least for this season, especially towards the end of games, you're getting towards that 2-minute warning and the coach still has their challenge. It's almost worth, a flyer to just throw the red flag out there and see if they'll overturn it, see if the pasta sticks to a wall and they get a nice
the fridge.
Yeah, the fridge. I don't know how you're doing your pasta, dude.
Yeah, if it sticks to the fridge, it's ready to go.
Is that what I thought it was like? Is it pasta?
It's pasta, like spaghetti, linguine.
I imagine like throwing cakes.
No, I don't do that.
Nick, it's the last 10 minutes. Is there trivia?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to some trivia. In any case.
Well, I mean, I have to wait for somebody to call in, so I will ask you guys trivia questions, the viewers.
Yeah.
I will ask the viewers.
Play along at home.
Well, let me and Zach play.
Yeah, viewers will play along at home. Sometimes people want to call in.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the number, by the way, Nick?
So here, well, you guys have to have a buzzer. So what's your buzzer sound?
Meep.
All right.
I don't know if that makes the mic though.
Yeah, I'll say ding. Don't worry.
Meep.
Okay, so whoever buzzes in first will get a point, or I don't know, whatever. I will ask 3 questions.
Is it
no. You guys should know like these questions. I gotta find it. It's in my phone.
The easiest questions. Who hit the game-winning shot against the Illinois?
Any Super Bowl predictions while we wait?
I think.
Okay, I'm ready.
The AFC, the Chiefs will make it.
Wow. Jeez, really?
Zach is everybody who's watching. Zach gives every hot take you could think.
We got all pros in Patrick Mahomes, the MVP, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, LaShawn McCoy. I think the offense is the best in the league. Defense is, they held the Patriots great offense, right, to 16 points or something. No, I mean that's not true. Patriots,
the Patriots offense has been.
I don't know. I feel like you gotta have a good quarterback, you gotta have an experienced quarterback, and you gotta have a, Andy Reid. They are all the pieces. I feel like.
Andy Reid's gonna lose it for him somehow.
You gave me a pretty decent explanation there. I honestly might favor them over the Patriots.
Oh yeah, the Patriots. I mean, like I never discount Tom Brady because it's Tom Brady, but Tom Brady can become a madman in the playoffs, and I don't know, throw some bombs up
to James White.
Well,
that's gonna win.
He's got to inject some adrenaline into that offense. That's all he has to do. I'm ready for you guys with trivia. So if you're at home and you want to play along, first person type the answer in the chat will get bragging rights, or if they want a prize, I can get them a prize too. But you guys, don't look at the chat. I will ask you guys 3 questions, and first one to tell me the correct answer. Well, after you buzz in, we'll get the point.
So it's one question at a time here, right?
Yeah, it's one question at a time. Who holds the record for most points in an NBA quarter?
Meep. Klay Thompson.
Correct. Wow. Zach with 1 point without hesitation.
Is it 27? I don't know. You wouldn't know.
I would have guessed Harden.
I was gonna say that was my next question is what number of points did he score? Are you on Googling right now though?
Yeah, I Googled. I didn't realize
It's 37.
Yeah, it's 30. I didn't realize that was a question.
So the question.
Well, it was half right, right? Because they had the 7 right. Is that how that works?
Okay. So Klay Thompson was the right answer with 37 points. I forgot what team he did it against. I think he did it in a regular season game though. Yeah. I think he got 9 threes or something crazy like that.
NBA regular season.
He did it against
disqualified
the
from
Kings.
any trivia.
What MLB team did not make the World Series this decade after making it every decade since the 1920s?
The Yankees.
Yeah. Goddamn. Drew.
Well, I'm a Yankees fan.
The New York Yankees are the correct
They won
answer.
in 2009, and then it's been a drought because the Astros are cheating. So
I have a.
That's screwed up.
We lost to them twice in the ALCS like the last 2 years. So
I have a ton of questions, so I'm just going to keep going.
keep fine. We'll get Drew one.
What was the Nationals' record after 50 games this season?
Meep 25 and 25.
No.
I'll give it a ding. I'm gonna guess 32 and 18.
Gosh, you guys, it was 19 and 31.
All right, I'll take it.
They were 19 wins, 31 losses the season they won. Like,
that's
what is this Major League Baseball? Like they play 100.
1931 is like a pretty significant stat.
That's a third of the way through the season. That's not insignificant.
All right. This is gonna be a quick answer. I hope Drew knows this because he should. Where did Michael Jordan go to college?
Meep, UNC.
All right. You both knew it. I know you both knew it.
That was a waste of my time.
I'm quick on the
All right, well, here's another one that's going to be a waste of your time. Who famously defeated Mike Tyson in a massive upset? Who famously defeated Mike Tyson in a massive upset?
I mean, I have like big names in my head. The question is like, which one is it? Meep Evander Holyfield.
No.
I haven't known.
Do you have like a name in the head, Drew?
I don't know much about Tyson's era.
George Foreman?
No. You want to keep trying?
What was his name? Joe?
Anybody can guess. All right, Buster Douglas.
I don't know who that is. Buster Posey?
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
What is the name of the 15-year-old American who stormed into the tennis world this summer?
Meep.
Oh.
Wait, are we talking about the... No,
what is the name
15.
What is the name of the 15-year-old?
Naomi Osaka, but she's not 15.
Yeah.
Is it Naomi Osaka?
No.
All right.
Naomi is 21. You already answered. It's Drew's turn. You got to give Drew a chance.
I'll give him a chance, but I gotta think.
I have no idea.
No, she's American, and her parents are very nice. I think she's. I mean,
she Asian as well?
No, I think she's African American.
She's African American.
Wait, give me first.
15-year-old. Her initials are CG.
CG? Coco Gauff.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I'm a fan.
Yeah, no. I remember watching some of her highlights.
Yes.
She was good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say.
Name 3 of the 5 starting pitchers on the 2014 Detroit Tigers.
That's ridiculous. Meep, Justin Verlander. That's it.
Yep. That's all I got.
All right. The 2014 Detroit Tigers had a pitching staff starting of Justin Verlander, 2-time World Series champion, David Price, Boston starter, Max Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez, and Rick Porcello. That was an insane rotation.
That's a great rotation. Fun fact, I've met Justin Verlander's parents.
Are you serious?
That's fun. Yeah. That'd be, honestly, I wonder what's like if you could have like a team where if every player was in their prime. Like that's a team that like their rotation back then was probably like okay. But like if you could have like if everybody was playing in their prime, it'd be like the top 5 Cy Young people. So it'd be like a fun thing to think about. Like, what if you just had everybody on your team was playing in your prime? Then what would like the best team be?
All right.
But that's just hypothetical for another day.
What was so unique about the road teams during this World Series?
Meep, they won every game.
Yeah. Sorry, Drew. I don't have.
I did know that one. Yeah. It's not nearly as fast as that. I'm
sick too, so I'm very slow today.
What player from this past World Series has played in each playoff series, including the wild card game, in both the AL and the NL? So he's played in the AL wild card game, the NL wild card game, the ALDS, the NLDS. He's a pitcher on the Nationals. His initials are. He's a reliever on the Nationals.
Bob.
He's played in each playoff series.
You're really stumping me with all these baseball ones, man.
He's played. His initials are FR.
For real?
For real.
Frank Reich.
He is 42 years old. He is African American.
Okay.
He had a great closing season for the Tampa Bay Rays not too long ago.
For the Tampa Bay Rays, Fernando Rodney?
Yes, sir. Fernando Rodney has played in every single playoff series you can think of.
Shooting the bow thing?
What team didn't issue an intentional walk during the regular season?
Did not?
Did not. What team did not issue an intentional walk during the regular season?
That's a Moneyball move.
No,
Really.
it's not.
The obvious answer is the Minnesota Twins.
No. American League team.
Give me a...
I forgot. AL Central.
I think the
No, not the Central. It was the West.
Indian? West.
Angels?
No.
I don't know.
Houston Astros. So the Houston Astros did not issue an intentional walk this season, and they didn't issue their first intentional walk until against the Yankees in the playoffs. Or no, they issued an intentional walk to Juan Soto in the World Series. That was their first intentional walk of the season. Who had the oldest roster in the MLB this past season? The oldest roster.
Yeah, you're really rattling off these baseball trivia.
I just had them stored on my phone.
Oldest
gotcha.
roster.
Oldest roster in MLB this season. They were a playoff team.
Red Sox?
No, that was a good guess. They weren't in the playoffs though.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's usually a safe guess. So.
The Rays.
They had nope. The Rays usually like to go young with their. I love their pitching. I love their whole organization. Their just ability to spend money smartly. I think they have like a $60 million payroll this season, and the Yankees have spent money on two players that totaled like more than that, like between Cole and somebody else.
If you have, you might as well spend it. There's no cap space. Or cap.
Yeah,
Luxury
we can talk
Yeah.
about that. I could talk about that all day if I really wanted to.
I had to do project.
Before we sign off, do you have more trivia?
Oh, I got to answer this question. Who had the oldest roster in MLB this season? The Washington Nationals. The average age was 30.1. And that's the last of questions I can ask for you guys.
Do you guys want to talk for like 2 minutes about Russia's ban from international competitions?
Oh, yeah. So if you didn't hear, Russia cannot compete in the Olympics this upcoming, I don't know, when is it? 2020.
2022 World Cup. Pretty much all internationally sanctioned sporting competitions. Russia is banned for the next 4 years.
But can they do because I know in 2018 they did the OAR. Are they going to do the same thing?
Yeah. So for the Olympics, the individual athletes, assuming they're clean, will be allowed to participate under the Olympic flag. But no Russian team will be able to compete in any of these international competitions for their doping cover-up.
Wow.
And, their doping program in
If
general.
I didn't trust the Russians before, I made it pretty clear.
What do you guys think? Fair? 4-year ban, is that enough? Is that too much?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I remember 2 years ago, I think I watched a documentary on Netflix that was about
Icarus?
Icarus.
Yeah.
It won Best Documentary.
Yeah,
It was
cool.
about kind of this guy who backed his way into being involved in the Russian scandal and being friends with the head of the Russian doping administration, and they have these complex plans of how to do it where you don't get caught, and what to take and when to make sure it doesn't track in their urine. So
Yeah.
it's a real deal. They have been exploiting it for a while.
So is 4 years, enough to? Are they going to go back to cheating?
Was that
Well, I
2 or
think
3 Olympics?
a reason for it being so harsh is to just set an example for what will happen if other countries do it and other stuff, and if that happens or whatever.
Should we ban the Astros
So
for 4 years?
same thing with Deflategate. Deflategate, the punishment
Ban
was
for 4 games. So.
yeah, the Deflategate was such harsh because people thought Goodell took it easy on Kraft when Spygate happened. So, it's just a statement penalty. It sets the tone for future penalties, I guess, if that happens.
Well, will this stop Russia though? In 4 years from now, do you think their athletes are going to be clean?
I don't know. I mean, they better
so.
be. I mean,
think-
one Russian athlete can mess it all up, I guess. But
Yeah. I think the individual athletes, I don't know, depends who's doing it or not, but I think that they understand that, this is not an uncatchable thing, and have to, win with their merit and with their drug programs.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair, fitting ban. Not like they were going to make the World Cup anyway, in all likelihood. Their soccer team's not that good. I'm not going to care about, I don't need to see their hockey team. I think it's Summer Olympics coming up anyway, right? Winter Olympics is until 2022, so
yeah,
that's probably the only thing they're really missing out on. Is going to be the hockey competitions and maybe cross country skiing or something. They weren't going to compete anything else anyway, right?
We have Thursday Night Football tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ravens Jets.
Jets at Ravens.
Jets.
Are you guys picking the Jets?
Well, I guess obviously not.
No left tackle tonight for the Ravens.
Wow, that's
left
huge.
tackle is going to be the weak point tonight. James Hurst.
Wow.
James Hurst.
Jets are no joke.
Ravens minus 17. I think against the spread, I'll choose the Jets.
Lamar Jackson injured his quad, so he might not be running all over the world tonight, but I got the Ravens in this one.
Yeah, I got the Ravens. I agree with that. I might take Jets and points if they got 17-point spread.
The Ravens are another team where I feel like they're overperforming. I feel like.
Yeah,
talent-wise, who are they? They're throwing to Mark Andrews. Like what?
I'm definitely waiting for them to lose. They're not unbreakable. Somebody's gonna break them.
They'll come down to earth. If they win this game tonight, they clinch the division.
Win one more game, they'll clinch the 1 seed. So that'll be fun. And then they get off, and then if they want to, they will rest their starters against the Steelers for you, Drew, on week 17.
I was thinking about that, whether or not if they had already locked up the 1 seed, if they would play their starters.
And then they would have 2 weeks off if they did that.
But it's a revenge game.
Yeah.
Not revenge, but a rivalry matchup.
It'd be interesting because that game will likely have playoff implications for the Steelers as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Ravens, play their starters at least for some of the game in an attempt to, keep the Steelers out of the playoffs. I don't think the Ravens would want to see the Steelers a third time.
I definitely agree. Like the Steelers are the standard for how good the Ravens are. The Ravens almost never beat the Steelers twice in a season. So if they do that this season, I give them a lot of confidence, and especially if they beat them twice with Lamar Jackson, because you guys have only seen Lamar Jackson once, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the second time you see him is going to be huge for his career. And if Lamar Jackson starts and he looks like trash, it's because Mike Tomlin.
I think
Mike Tomlin's always got a game plan for the Ravens.
Matchup. Both teams are trying to play, run-heavy football, possession-based football. Both teams want to limit the time possession for the other team, and really control that game clock. So I think we could see in Baltimore a low possession game, one that's pretty low scoring. Steelers and the Ravens both have very good defenses this year, so that. Well, we'll see what happens. I hope, as a fan, I don't want the Ravens to rest their starters. I'd like to see their best shot and come out with the win as a Steelers fan. But I also wouldn't mind if Lamar Jackson wasn't playing and the Steelers had an easier road to that wild card spot.
Yeah, I think the Ravens will play their starters for a half maximum. If they do have the 1 seed, you got to get your guys rest.
You're a Ravens fan, right, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Are they winning the Super Bowl?
It depends on who they play in the AFC playoffs, because if they have to play the Patriots again, I have to think that the Patriots are gonna win, because the second time you see Lamar Jackson is a huge deal. Lamar Jackson's only beat one team multiple times, and that was the Bengals.
Jeez.
He's beat the Bengals 3 times in his career, and he's never beat another team twice.
Even
so
people
that's
in their division. You've never beat the Browns twice.
He's facing the Browns again next week. So he's got 10 days rest after this Thursday. So I expect them to do much better against the Browns. He did put up 25, but the defense gave up 40. So that was a bad game.
You always hear you don't want to play the Patriots twice, and yet the Patriots have already played the Chiefs, Texans, and the Ravens.
Yeah, and they've lost all of them.
Well, they lost all of them, but
it wasn't even
see
close.
At least one of them in the playoffs. You feel you have to the AFC Championship game. You feel like it's either going through Ravens or Chiefs or So we'll see if the second time's a charm for Bill Belichick and crew.
The only team that I would feel comfortable playing twice is the Chiefs because Lamar has lost to them twice, so he's due to win, and I think he'll win against the Chiefs. I'm trying to think of who else is we have to face the Titans are the only team that we haven't faced in the playoff field yet. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I still think there's a weak point to the Ravens. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm looking at teams that don't have great defenses. That's what I want to be playing because I think Lamar can expose probably 2/3 of NFL defenses at this point.
Oh yeah.
But that top third, especially those top 3, 4, 5 defenses in the league, will give them some trouble. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a very interesting playoffs and last few weeks of the regular season.
To put it this way, I'd be disappointed if they didn't make the Super Bowl after this magical run, beating all these teams. And then if they get to the Super Bowl, I don't think there's an NFC team, unless it's the 49ers, that can take them down. Who else?
Saints.
I don't think the Saints are going to beat Lamar Jackson because they haven't seen him yet.
Cowboys.
I mean, we'll wait to see. We'll figure it out. Sorry, guys, for running over.
You should say you're welcome, guys, for running over. More content for you all.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. This is the last show of the semester. I might do a couple of pop-up shows during winter break. It all depends. You just have to check my Twitter. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please do well in your finals. Please do not stress. And I hope this took your mind off finals and continue studying hard, Terps. Is there anything you guys want to say before we sign off? Thank you guys for coming in today, Drew and Zach.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to be on.
I agree. Love being in your presence.
Oh, good. All right. Well, on that note, thank you for a great fall 2019 semester. We will be doing this live every day semester. We might get an additional hour. I got to talk to some people and figure that out. So we will wait and see. But stay tuned. And I will see you spring 2020. And have a great New Year. Have a great Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and all that good stuff.